TIL Dalia Dippolito hired a hitman to kill her husband. She was informed of the news her husband had been killed when she arrived home to a crime scene. Turns out, the hitman was a cop and the crime scene had been faked as a sting operation. She was sentenced to 16 years in prison. Remember, if you want something done right, do it yourself. Don't be a dope, always ask the hitman to show their union card and license. If you're further interested in this case, Jim Can't Swim has a fantastic video where he dissects her fake reaction at the crime scene and the subsequent police interrogation. The Curious Case of Dalia Dippolito, https://b/7jttwv6xz_I. She started fake crying before they even told her that her husband was dead. The Case File podcast did a good deep dive on this. Case 145, Michael Dippolito, from June 6. That's usually how this goes. Before you try to have somebody killed by a hitman, check your wallet. If your driver's license doesn't say Tony Soprano on it, you aren't having anybody whacked. You don't know somebody who will do murder for hire. Is nobody going to say anything about how she got pregnant while on house arrest while awaiting a retrial? Who the hell gets pregnant knowing they may be heading to prison for murder? She's had 2 separate jury trials, both guilty. She was recorded plotting the murder for hire, and her defense at trial was that the victim was in on it to try and gain reality TV fame. It's pretty much all she could say, and she had not a scrap of evidence to support it. Why is the media continuing to enable this woman's outrageous claims by giving her defense team so much airtime? Move on. If I remember correctly, her first conviction was thrown away and she was put in house arrest. During that time she had a child. In the second trial, she asked for leniency because of the baby. I feel really sorry for the baby. He was mom's get out of jail card, which failed. I really hope his schoolmates do not find this out. String operation. From the article, at her first trial, her attorney claimed that she knew she was being recorded by police and that her husband came up with the idea of creating a murder for hire video in hopes of posting it online and gaining reality TV fame. There was phone recordings of her trying to manipulate her very much alive husband into getting her a lesser sentence or something, as if it was his fault and his responsibility that she was locked up. She's a fucking sociopath and deserves to sit in a cell 100%. Claypool began representing Dippolito after her first trial, and her defense team said it hopes to succeed at one last shot at getting her a new trial. She was never a career criminal. In fact, Dalia Dippolito didn't even have a criminal record when this all went down, Claypool said. Dalia is resilient. She has not given up hope for getting a new trial. Yeah, dude. You can pull the she has no priors, give her a light first-time sentence shtick for so many offenses, shoplifting, or DUIs, or even fraud, for instance. Attempted murder is not one of those. I am happy with a woman who did what she did, never seeing the light of day, prior records, or not. Dalia Dippolito wanted control of the couple's Palm Beach County townhouse and her husband's bank account. They also argued that she wanted him out of the way so that she could rekindle a relationship with an old boyfriend. It's greed and lust every single fucking time. When I was younger, my old stepmom tried to hire hitman to kill my dad. She wanted to be with her ex-husband. They told a friend of theirs to help find a hitman. The friend luckily was smart enough to go to police. With help they set up a sting-in motel to do the meetings. They shot up one of my dad's shirts, then poured a ketchup mixture all over him laying on floor and took pictures. The story was on the show Hard Copy in early 90s. Have never been able to find the episode to watch again now. Lost the VHS copies from moving several times. Only VHS I found so far was only the Where Are They Now update for the Geraldo episode he was on. She got out about 20 years later. But the ex-husband barely spent time in jail at all because his family had money. Had to take my little sister to some of her family functions just to be nice, but that stopped when all they talked about was how terrible a friend the person that went to cops was. Like WTF. If it had not been for her, our dad would be dead. Your brat is just in jail. I feel like hiring a hitman should be life without parole. You don't belong in society. Ever. 16 years is nothing for attempted murder. Additional facts. She met her husband she tried to kill because he hired her as an escort. She was originally convicted of the 2009 crime in 2011, but got out of jail on bail while waiting for an appeal, where she successfully argued that her trial was unfair because her ex-boyfriend was in jail and wasn't allowed to testify. She stayed out of jail for 6 more years and went through a second trial, which ended in a mistrial, and then a third trial which ended in a conviction plus a shorter sentence of 16 years from her original 20-year sentence. She had been on house arrest during those 6 years, during which she gave birth to a son. https://www. Palm Beach Post. com/news/crime law/Dalia Dippolito officially checks prison /at 9 GZPMPVL3 and Jake V3 NCHFK/. I heard this story on a podcast, maybe Sword and Scale, ICR, but hearing her recorded phone calls to the husband, and of the solicitation, is chilling. She got off easy. Alexa, play Dippolito. The videos are crazy. She kept trying to gaslight the dude until the last moment. I interned for her first attorney during this case and whoa boy let me tell ya. A string operation? She could claim she was roped in and there wasn't enough evidence to tie her to the crime scene. She also stole the guy's house. He put it in her name after she had her friend call him pretending to be a lawyer and scaring him into thinking he was under investigation. I see you also watched the JCS video on it, up. After the arrest, the first person she called was her husband. She was begging him to come and help her. He knew that she tried to hire a hit on him, and she knew that he was privy to that information as well. Yet she chose him to be the first call she made. Wow, she was a manipulative cunt that had everything in life handed to her because of her looks and her charm. She was always able to sleep with someone to squirm out of every bad situation that ever came her way. Not this time. How you going to hate your spouse that much? You're the one that chose to marry the person. 16 YRS goddamn. Isn't that lady cop who killed the black man eating ice cream in his own home out in like 6 months? Her lawyers tried real hard to say it was for reality TV. Why didn't she just get a divorce? This lady's interrogation, https://www. youtube.com/watch, v=jre7xartvra, with police is a fascinating look into the psychology of pathological liars. Crackle crackle. 16 years is nothing for attempted murder. If it was a man, it would have been triple that sentence. SMH, F her, and FABC for trying to make people feel sorry for her. If she misses her poor son so much then maybe she shouldn't have gotten pregnant knowing she was probably going back to prison. Damn, they killed the husband for authenticity. This is the dumbest TIL story format. It's just slapping TIL in front of a news story. The spirit of TIL should be about pointing out oddly hidden things from history or society, not just random run-of-the-mill wife hires hitman type of stories. I'm pretty sure this was on an episode of Cops. The hitman is always a cop. How many times? Only 16. They used ketchup as blood in the staged crime scene photos that they showed her during the interview/interrogation, confirming to her that he had been murdered. Minutes later, her husband walked in, very much alive. Her reaction is pretty gross to watch. There are tons of videos of the interview all over the interwebs. That's awful. So how would one know if a hitman is a cop or not? I ask for a friend. Only 16 years for actively trying to hire a hitman to kill your husband, huh? What's also pretty interesting is that her husband Michael was on parole as he was in jail for fraud, I think, and she tried to get him in trouble with his parole officer and even went as far as planting coke in his car and calling his po.